Hello, everybody. I'm Brian, and I'm doing my presentation on kind of like the general U.S. zoning laws compared to specifically Japanese, but other countries' zoning laws and how they implement housing and things like that. So, again, I'm Brian, and I just want you all to think of this. The median new home price in the United States just hit a little over $416,000, while a family size, roughly the same size as what we'd build here in the United States, a family sized house on the edge of Tokyo, a huge metropolitan area within Japan, could still sell for about 700,000 US dollars. But so how can one of the world's largest cities keep housing affordable when our own growing metros cannot? And over the next, 3 to 5 minutes, I want to summarize this problem and compare how the U.S. and Japanese zoning systems, and I want to outline three concrete steps in how the U.S. can take steps to fix its own housing shortage. So, number one, we have to just kind of diagnose the shortage. Decades of local, highly fragmented zoning and neighborhood vetoes have throttled supply. And the result is a national deficit of roughly 3.7 million homes. And starting homes topping about $100 million, or starter homes are topping over $1 million in over 200 US cities. Worse, about 40% of Manhattan's current building could not legally be built today under our current zoning laws. We did this to protect those buildings, but all it's done is create this massive shortage. So in 1968, Japan replaced thousands of local categories with just 13 national use zones. Housing is automatically allowed in 10 of them. Any project that meets the written code receives a permit as of right, usually within 3 months. No public hearings required. Because developers can predict timelines and costs, Tokyo approves about 145,000 dwellings every year, enough to keep total housing supply ahead of household growth. So it's led to this massive surplus, and Japan's surplus is now roughly 8 million vacant units, and rents in Tokyo average 61% below a comparable metro area like San Jose, while here in the US, drawn out approvals add up to 2 years and up to 15% extra to projected cost. Where a city breaks down that logjam, Austin is one of our best examples. Austin's been massively building out all of their all housing pretty much, and rents fell year over year. They were down 5.9% in 24, even though the population of Austin, Texas is rising. So in my opinion, the lesson here is pretty straightforward. Abundance, predictable, capable sizes, and discretionary bottlenecks will directly deflate new housing cost. So what can we borrow from Japan? What's the moral of the story that we could take away from it? I think we should look to reduce our federal modeling zone code and consolidate all of our different zone codes. Again, we have tens, if not hundreds, of different zones for their very specific areas. I think we could take a lesson from Japan to consolidate that down to maybe just they have 13, maybe we could make do with 20, 30 max kind of thing. Just far consolidate down. We should also look to increase the amount of time it takes to actually get those permits. Maybe like a guaranteed, you have 120 days to meet, or for this project to meet the code. California has actually already implemented something like this. It's called the SB 423, and it's more of a concept thing, more of a proof of concept. It hasn't been fully nationally implemented. It hasn't even been fully implemented within California itself, but it's a step in the right direction, I believe. And I think the benefits of this would be clear. With more elastic supply, I think about a good 20% bump in annual starts would erase 2/3 of the national deficit within 4 years. in each ever like every percentage point here and there, it starts to trim like rent inflation down. 0.6 points. That's about $100 off the average monthly rent by like 2030. In denser, more mixed-use zoning near transit, like hubs, would help cut like our CO2 levels. So it would be more. It would be less people in cars. There would be less 2 hour daily commutes. It would help out substantial. We could build out tram lines because we would be able to predict where people are coming in from a lot easier. We wouldn't have to sprawl out as much, which would drastically help with cutting our CO2 levels. Now, all of this to say, there's nuance in everything, and the caveat to this, Japan isn't perfect. Rural depopulation provides zoning isn't this silver bullet, but its core insight is universal. Simple national rules plus fast approvals equals plentiful homes at reasonable prices. Congress has already passed the bills. States like Oregon and California are showing that proofs like this can work. All that's missing is a broader political will. So let's stop treating housing as some speculative, like scarce good, and start treating it like Tokyo does, as just a basic infrastructure. And thank you. Hope you enjoyed this presentation.